Stephanie Bain, I have a books. I'm a book nerd. There's so many books. Hello everyone, today's video is going to be my book talk on Golden Son by Pierce Brown. All I can say for the non-spoilery section of this video is, first off, it's the sequel to Red Rising, which you guys know is my favorite book last year. And, oh my goodness, it's amazing. And everything I said about that book applies to this one. It's written extremely well. I love the world. My biggest and most favorite thing is Darrow. I love the person that he is, the character. He's like one of the best protagonists I've ever read about. Because even though he makes mistakes, he knows that he has to reevaluate it. He doesn't just go in everything half-assed and like, oh, well, I don't know why that happened. And that's something that he carried on to this book. All I have to say is, holy shit, there was just so many things happened. So many things. But please, if you have not read Red Rising, or you read Red Rising and you haven't read the second book, please go read it. It just keeps getting better. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Of course, because it's just so amazing. Like, oh my god, the feels. The feels, guys. The feels. So now, if you have not read the book, go away, go read it, and then come back, because I'm going to get into my spoilery sections, so all the people that read it and we can talk about it together. So, bye! I seriously just didn't know how to feel at the end of this book. When I finished this book last night, I did not know how to feel, and obviously I'm not going to be uploading this immediately, or maybe I will, I'm not sure yet, but I finished this on January 31st. Like, seriously, there was just so much that happened. First off, I was a little bit taken by surprise when it's like Darrow talking and he's like 2 years later. I'm like, what the fuck has happened? Like, 2 years have passed. And when I figured that out, I'm like really stupidly was like, oh, let me go reread Red Rising, which I enjoyed just as much as I did the first time. But I reread it and it was just really nice to have everything really fresh in my mind. But 2 years passed, and at first I was a little like scared, like, oh my god, you just skipped 2 years. I usually don't appreciate that. But it made perfect sense because he went to the academy, and if he would have not skipped those 2 years and we would have seen Darrow in the academy, it would have been almost exactly the same thing as the first book. So as I kept reading and I figured out what happened in those 2 years, I was like, oh, okay, I'm totally fine with that. I'm glad that they just kind of moved on. I was a little upset about Mustang, more about Mustang later. I have about a million things I think about her. And it was just like really weird, but I truly enjoyed the whole like little jump. What the fuck? I really enjoyed the time jump. I think it was a really good move because we obviously want the story to progress and we don't want you to eat shit for a whole book and like, oh, he's back at it. Like, it would have been like The Institute. So, totally fine with that. Everything just starts going wrong for him. You know, Augustus and wanted to like tell him, no, you have to go to another family. You can't stay here anymore because he didn't win over, I think, Carnus. I always forget the guy's name. Carnus won, and then Augustus was like, you know, we're gonna like give him away. And I was like, oh my god, all these plans are coming down, and I started panicking a little. Along with Augustus wanting to get rid of him, there was that whole issue with Pliny and the Jackal, which I'm going to be talking out of order. I'm not going to try to go in order of the book. I'm going to literally just talk about the things that stuck in my head. Pliny was kind of confusing because he was there and then he's all of a sudden against them, and that's when they captured Augustus, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Rogue just breaks my heart. I'm so pissed off by him. You figure out now in Golden Son, like, Rogue, why he got into Mars. He's a fucking slimy son of a bitch. He doesn't care about anyone but himself and his gold status and stuff like that. And when at the end of the book he's like, but we're not brothers, you are red and I'm a gold, I was just like, fuck. That's something I was really like, what the hell happened? How did they find out? Did Mustang tell them? I'm just all over the place with this. I don't even know how to feel. So many things happen. I was just so sad. So many people died in this book. I was upset when Taxus died. Yes, he was an asshole and he was horrible and he left them. But I was still sad when he died. I was so sad when Quinn died. And then Weed and all of the other, Harpy, I believe, is one of the names. And then the other Howlers. I was just like, no. But then Ragnar comes into the picture after Taxus. And like, I love Ragnar, like, with all of my heart. Ragnar, to me, is not, like, lovable like Pax, because Pax was just such a sweetheart and just had this big heart. But Ragnar, like, is kind of the opposite of Pax, and I love him the same, though. Like, oh my god, Ragnar just made me so happy. I was upset with Thistle, if I'm correct. That's the one that was bitching about Ragnar having the razor. It's like, you guys are in a fucking war. Like, what does any of that shit fucking matter? Like, what does it matter? And then, oh my goodness, I was really scared that for a minute, I didn't think Daryl was gonna die, but I was really scared that Severo was gonna die, because I love Severo with all of my heart. He made me laugh so much. Like, when Mustang comes back after having taken Pliny's eye out, and then he's like, can I have that? And I'm just like, oh my god, he's gonna start a collection. Like, he makes my heart so warm. And I knew I loved Severo when he tells him that he knows. And he's like, I've always known. Like, he's like, you know, I've always had that, like, inkling about you, especially when he said bloody damn. But, oh, and I love when Daryl's like, I swear, he, like, pretty much became our ally just so he can curse as much as a rat. And, oh my god, Harmony, though. Harmony, and I felt bad for Mickey, but the fucking pink, I don't remember her name now, Evie or something like that, I don't know. I was really surprised, and then when they said Dancer was dead, I was a little worried, and it's like, you guys haven't contacted him in 2 years. What the hell's going on? You guys are doing the exact opposite of what you intended to do this entire time, and you're, like, Harmony just seems so cruel and so mean, and I'm just like, I don't know how to feel about that. And when we find out about Fitchner, oh my goodness. Okay, Fitchner, I've always loved Fitchner. Even in the beginning of the book, when he was being a doucher, I loved Fitchner. And then we find out that Fitchner's heiress, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I did not know how to feel about that. It was a total shock. I would never, ever have expected it. Never. I thought maybe his dad really wasn't dead or something. I don't know. But holy shit, it was Fitchner. And then Jackal and, like, Rogue hands in the box, and it was freaking Fitchner's head. I was like, I swear I cried so much in this book. Like, I'm telling you, the feels were all over the place. I hated Rogue so much right then and there. And then the Jackal, Mustang was right about the Jackal. Do not trust him. So it looks like the Jackal was this entire time ahead of him, and he kind of had an idea for sure that he was against him when Darrow went to Attica. I believe that's the name of the place where, like, you know, remember he was, like, making in Citadel, and he was making his, like, own, like, empire there, and, like, Severo and them went in the place to get Harmony and them out. I think he knew, and I think he found out because of that. But I still don't know how they found out that the Son of Heirs was Fitchner, and they cut his head off, and they, like, poisoned him, and they're taking him, and I am just flipping out. I want to say it was probably because of Mustang. Now let's get into the Mustang segment. I loved Mustang in Red Rising. I loved her so much, and I just thought she was this absolutely perfect person for him. You know, let's put this book over here. That she was, like, the perfect person, you know, after EO and stuff, but that, I kind of had a feeling that, like, literally the only thing I was able to predict out of this entire book were the things that happened with Mustang, except for the very, very end. I honestly didn't think she would do that. Like, you know, walk out on him and almost kill him. I didn't think she was going to do that. I had a feeling she was going to show up with Cassius. I was like, oh my god, what if she's with him? And then she's with him, and I don't know how to feel. But oh my goodness, when Darrow and him are dueling, and, like, he's pretending he can't do anything, and then he gets up, he's like, yeah, but my, like, you know, Lorne. Lorne is another story. But then, like, he got taught by Lorne, so of course he's fucking badass as shit. He cuts off his arm. I was like, yeah. You deserve it, Cassius. You deserve it, because unfortunately, that was something I always was just felt so annoyed of. And I want to say I mentioned this in my review of Red Rising, but Cassius's issue with him is like, what else could Darrow have done? Someone has to come out of that situation alive, and he wasn't going to let Julian win. So, you know, that was just, that was really sad. And I feel bad for that. But Cassius fucking deserves it. That's all I gotta say. I do not like the Bologna family. Oh my god, Antonia and Victra's death was so fucking sad. I didn't want her to die because I actually really liked her in this book. But let's talk more about Mustang. So she's there with him. Darrow cuts off his arm, you know, hand, arm. I think he like cut off a good chunk of it. And then he tells Mustang about everything. And I honestly thought she was not going to have an issue with it. I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to be like, it's okay, I love you, da da da. And the bitch is like, no. She's pointing a fucking, what is it, torture thingy, I don't remember the name of the weapon, at him. And like, thankfully for Ragnar, I love Ragnar. Just letting you know, like, I love Ragnar. But I was just so sad, like, no, Mustang, you know, like, she's supposed to love and care for Darrow, but she's not fucking caring for him right now. She's like, you're a rat, da da da. It's like, but he wants it to be better for them. And like, that's something that I realized about the Golds. Like, it's true. When they were in the Institute and he made them, you know, slaves of free will type thing, you know, where he was like, no, you know, we'll take off your brand and stuff, but you have to follow me. They were cool with that then. But then you have to, you know, this is real life. There's actual war going on. You have to be careful with your alliances and all this other stuff. And he's doing the same things they did in the Institute in real life, and it's not working. And I think it was several that made him realize they're cutting it too close. Like, they're Golds. At the end of the day, they are still Golds. And I understand why Darrow has to say certain things to them and has to lie to them, because look at Rogue. Rogue fucking backstabbed him, and I understand that he kept him at arm's distance, but he never at the same time did anything so absolutely wrong to him. So Rogue just like lost all respect for me. I want to say I still love him, but I don't. And the Jackal was no effing surprise, but I was a little disappointed because they were working so well together. I didn't think he was going to turn around and stab him in the back and then go to the House Bologna. Like, seriously? I don't know where this is going. I do not know what's going to happen. This book literally kept just surprising me. It kept surprising me, and I was like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And bam, it shows you something. I was like, seriously? That happened? Like, Augustus, his son killed him. I'm actually kind of excited about that. I've never liked him. I don't like Augustus. He's a fucking prick. But then what the fuck's gonna happen? Oh my god, in Severo, I feel so bad for him because, like, after finding out the story why Fitchner became the son of Ares and stuff, I'm just like, what the fuck? And then his mom, when Darrow's mom saw him, she knew it was him, and it just, like, melted my heart. I cried then, too. But so much is happening, and my thing is where is this going to go? He's been captured. He's with, I believe, House Bologna, Cassius and Jackal and Rogue. They, like, took him, and they're gonna find, well, they're going to be looking for Severo, the other Howlers that weren't there, and I have no idea what to expect. I just realized that I need to stop trying to figure out what's going to happen in this book, because I obviously don't know anything. Like, these books are very unpredictable. Like, I can't predict what's going to happen. Of course, there's, like, little things where it's like, oh, yeah, I kind of figured that out. But then there's other things where it's like, Fitchner, for example. At the end of it, I was like, oh, that didn't... I mean, that was a twist, though. Because Pierce gave us, like, the whole... Like, he literally gave you that predictability when Augustus was like, oh, I want to adopt you, I want you to be my son, because we kind of already knew that was going to happen. Fitchner had said it, and they were all talking about it. But then, when they were doing that, and they talk about that, guess what? Everyone dies. Victra, Lorne. I still can't believe Lorne and Victra. I was really like, what the fuck? Her sister's a fucking bitch. Someone needs to kill Antonia. I never liked her at all. I don't like her at all. But I can honestly tell you this is the best sequel to a book I've ever read. And I cannot wait for Morning Star to come out. I have to wait a whole fucking year for it. But guys, if you haven't read it, go read it. It is just absolute perfection. I absolutely adore this series. Like, oh, I can tell you this is my absolute favorite series I've ever read. I've never felt so, like, emotionally attached and just so, like, by a series. Like, I have other series I love, but this is my absolute favorite. I can't wait for the last book, and I can't wait for him to keep writing. I am just so... I love it so much. That is my book talk and emotional spiel over The Golden Son. I absolutely love this book with all of my heart. I hope you guys read it and enjoy it, and leave me your comments below if you have read it, what you thought about it. But of course, a 5 out of 5 stars from me, and I will see you next time. I want to reread it all over again, and I just finished it.